What makes a great middle years learning program? What are the middle years? The middle years refers to early adolescence between 10 and 15 years of age. It is during this time that young people undergo more rapid and profound changes than any other period in their lives. Surrounding these physiological realities is an entire branch of educational philosophy entitled Middle Schoolers, who advocate on behalf of the strategies which serve and support the diverse characteristics and needs of young adults. Traditional schooling draws a line between primary and secondary education styles. Primary is traditionally a teacher-centered environment, where one classroom teacher designs and delivers all subjects to a set cohort. Secondary education tends to be subject-centered, as students navigate their way around campus to where each discipline is being taught and from a different assortment of teachers. Middle schoolers, however, identify a separate stage of schooling which rests in between and can act as a supportive bridge between the two phases of educational development, centering around year levels 5 through 10. While not all Australian schools recognize this segmentation in bricks and mortar, many Victorian secondary schools do offer some sort of middle years program to aid the transition. Institutional demands on young people. Middle schooling is an educational philosophy which is used all over the world and manifests in different ways in response to each particular school system. At the federal level, the Australian school system requires its students in all states and territories complete at least year 10, and until they are 17 years of age, must at least be participating full-time in education, training, or employment. It is in response to this law, the state of Victoria offers two distinct certificates for graduation. The Victorian Certificate of Education for students who complete their later years of 11 and 12 in a traditional academically rigorous format, and the Victorian Certificate of Applied Learning to support students who opt for completing year 10, then track their way into a desired trade career from year 11. The outcome of these institutional constraints is that students are faced with making very important decisions about their future by the time they enter year 10, at only 14 or 15 years of age. Middle schoolers argue that at this time in adolescent development, all students shift in and out of being considered at risk of disengagement and needing extra support to succeed academically and socially. Paired with changes in their bodies, minds, and societal pressures, our primary goals in the middle years must be to create engaged, confident, and independent learners, regardless of their chosen path to graduation. Researchers agree that to support this type of growth, a student-centered approach, one that considers the whole student, is required. This attention on a personal, social, and academic level can sustain engagement and facilitate the development of personal skills needed to be successful in the 21st century. Middle years program evaluation. A careful curation of evidence-based strategies is required to achieve these important goals. But how can we know if our programs are successful? In practice, collected data from students, assessments, and teachers are excellent tools for evaluating and improving learning programs. Today, however, we will be looking at a program which has not yet been taught and therefore has less available data. Instead, I have sought feedback on the program's design from mentors and peers, as well as additional feedback on professional experience sessions from students and supervising teachers. This range of feedback has been collated in a simple SWOT analysis for evaluation of the program's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Together with further research from educational literature, we'll explore the question, what characterizes quality teaching and learning in the middle years? Curriculum designed to meet middle years' needs. Curriculum is defined as what you teach, and pedagogy as how you teach it. These elements, together with assessment and reporting, overlap to create a student-centered middle years philosophy. Rather than requiring students to adhere to traditional success criteria of a particular subject, such as the standardized testing in VCE, students are encouraged to explore their interests surrounding a topic and may instead be assessed on this self-guided exploration. The intersection of planning topics in a student-centered pedagogy invites new approaches to curriculum design, such as an interdisciplinary curriculum, the blending of two or more subjects within the same program. Research suggests that moving away from confined learning within traditional subject boundaries is an effective strategy for middle years learning and teaching. Additionally, an integrated curriculum includes the teaching of skills and values to support the whole student across subjects and year levels. Support for middle years philosophy in the Victorian curriculum. An integrated curriculum is a feature of the Victorian Curriculum and Assessment Authority's Foundation through Year 10 curriculum, in the form of the general capabilities. These are critical and creative thinking, ethical, intercultural, personal and social, as well as literacy, numeracy, and the use of information and communication technologies. All subjects have the mandatory inclusion of two or more of the capabilities, and it is expected that the skills and knowledge defined in the capabilities will be developed and demonstrated by students in and through their learning across the curriculum. The VCAA's curriculum is informed by the 2008 document, the Melbourne Declaration on Educational Goals for Young Australians, which also encourages that students explore these capabilities through an interdisciplinary approach to ensure that students have the ability to move across subject disciplines to develop new expertise. Therefore, schools which favor a contemporary approach to their curriculum are opting to offer elective semesters that employ an interdisciplinary, integrated curriculum for middle years students. A whole school approach where leadership and teachers share the same contemporary philosophy are most successful to deliver such programs. Interdisciplinary, integrated curriculum. The middle years program I offer for evaluation combines the disciplines of media arts and history, as well as integrates critical and creative thinking capability to create Medistory, sharing history through stop-motion animation in Year 10. Across 10 weeks, students learn the foundational skills required from each subject area and then weave them together to research, write, and produce a historical explainer video. In addressing the issue of disengagement amongst adolescents, researchers agree that integrated approaches motivate and interest students in ways that disciplinary content delivered by traditional pedagogical means fails to do. Pedagogy to meet middle years' needs. Knowing what to teach is only a quarter of the way towards a great program design. The content must be supported by a pedagogical framework or style of teaching, which suits the curriculum and, more importantly, the particular cohort's needs. Determining first how students will be guided through the learning process, what they will be assessed on, and how students and teachers can receive meaningful feedback throughout that process provides opportunity for backwards design that creates quality learning programs. In order to guide students through the production of their historical explainer video, I chose an inquiry-based pedagogical framework. This framework allows students to create deep learning through the investigation of a big question, subsequent big ideas, and essential questions. Looking at the learning as a journey allows for the integration of various forms of assessment throughout. Assessment can be categorized into formative and summative, or three distinct areas: assessment as, assessment for, and assessment of learning. Strengths of an inquiry-based pedagogy. Learning through inquiry allows for student agency, naturally lends to differentiation, and is a great opportunity for students to build metacognition, all proven strategies to maintain engagement and ensure quality teaching in the middle years. The VCAA encourage and value the use of high-impact teaching strategies for quality teaching and learning in schools. Some examples from HITS, which are present in my program. Student agency. Student agency, or giving students voice in the classroom, can build trusting relationships with teachers and classmates. And a negotiated curriculum gives students the opportunity to choose aspects of their unit, such as the topic or summative assessment project, and has been proven to increase engagement and build independent learners. A method for evaluating our own program as teachers is to ask ourselves, how am I giving students a voice? Am I showing them that they are being heard? On placement, I asked for student feedback about my history lessons, and overwhelmingly they reported loving the historical explainer videos I showed them, as well as an interest in the World Wars. Therefore, student agency is at the heart of the program. At the start of the unit design, students choose their event of focus within the World Wars, can choose their groups, and their role in production. Feedback shows that this aspect of my program was strong and would likely work well in practice. I am happy with this aspect of the program. However, upon delivery, I would make sure to keep gathering student feedback to adjust the unit accordingly. Focus on metacognition. In alignment with the general capability, critical and creative thinking, metacognition is the skill of thinking about and reflecting on our thought processes. According to VCAA, students require explicit support to develop the breadth and depth of their thinking, and that developing critical and creative thinking skills is an essential element of developing successful, confident, and innovative members of the community. A method for teachers to ensure that we're integrating metacognitive skills is to actively be working on our own metacognition, then modeling this process to the students. Teachers must be self-aware and constantly learning to teach self-awareness ourselves. According to feedback, one of Medistory's strengths is its incorporation of a learning journal, which allows students to record and reflect on their learning throughout the production process, adding to their own metacognitive toolbox for future use. Furthermore, sharing reflections with peers and teachers increases the democratic atmosphere in the classroom and supports student agency. Differentiated teaching. Inquiry-based learning is a constructivist approach to learning and teaching, meaning it's based in the understanding that learning happens when learners create their own connections by connecting what they already knew with new information. This approach considers the whole student and evidently means that students all start with a different collection of prior knowledge. In order for constructivist learning to optimally work, we need to meet the students where they're at. Differentiation means that all students have challenging learning goals to meet their needs and have access to activities and tasks which help to scaffold the knowledge necessary to build new and meaningful learning. A weakness of my program is that while the design lends to differentiation, this aspect is not very detailed. Fortunately, there is a balance between explicit teaching and group work, but the program can be strengthened with more attention to differentiation. Feedback-informed suggestions for improvement. Overall, the program was received as successful in its creativity of design and inquiry-based framework. with minimal weaknesses or threats. However, upon reflection, I've identified a way to strengthen the program through technology. Use of Google Classroom to support and extend learning. On professional experience, I was informed of the power of Google Classroom for creating assessment as learning. Short quizzes and fun games can inform students of their level of foundational knowledge and guide them towards the differentiated resources that each student requires to build their foundational knowledge. Google Classroom used in this way also provides immediate data collection, which empowers teachers to make cohort-specific decisions on how to best deliver the rest of the unit or even the current session. Conclusion. In conclusion, as creators and deliverers of curriculum for students between primary school and the later years, it is our job to ensure that students are comfortable with and enjoy the process of learning. We need to be reflective about our own processes, to evaluate and improve programs to ensure they engage with all students and build their confidence to make positive, forthcoming decisions about their pathway into adulthood.